Today we are going to deep dive into the 5 powers of the element of earth. This is one of my absolute favorites. It's everything from a solid foundation to building awesome stuff in your life. I feel so nourished and, as you can tell, excited about the earth
Yeah.
element. So we're going to go into all the 5 powers, how you can use those to make your life feel as exciting as mine's feeling right now. And if you stick around to the end, that's where we're going to give you all the easy, practical tips of how you can incorporate earth energy into your life to easily get this solid foundation, rock stable, nothing can shake me, and I can build whatever the hell I want.
All right.
It's awesome. So one of my favorite experiences with earth energy is I actually got to spend a night in a cave with 30 people. And this is a giant cave, like that's bigger than my house. It's huge. And there's a river that runs through it.
That does
And
not sound exciting to me, but that's okay.
it was kind of like when you first saw it, it's like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then you're going down into it, carrying all your stuff. And you're like, I'm going to sleep in here. This is kind of creepy. It's echoey. It's like weird. Are there bats? Are there like it was a weird energy, but it was the best night's sleep I have ever had.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think with the river in it, just the condensation, like the air was like, oh, your skin felt good. Your lungs just felt clear. You felt super clear when you woke up.
I mean, I've been in caves, so I get that feeling of it. And there was a waterfall in this cave too, which was really cool,
Yeah.
but made it very cold at the same time.
It was cold too.
But the feeling of being in the earth and the energy behind it was, I can relate. I can see how you had a really good night's sleep.
Yeah, we had a lot of drumming in there and a fire and, dancing by the edge of the water in there. And then when we came out of the cave, we did this whole thing like we were coming out of the womb type of thing, like rebirthing ourselves into new energy. It was really powerful, really awesome. I loved it.
Rebirthing. That's a good thing to use the earth element
Yeah,
for.
exactly. Well, that's why we call it Mother Earth. Like this is the basis all behind it. Gaia, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Feminine energy, and I don't mean female, even though we're talking mother and that type of thing. Feminine energy will actually link above. We did a podcast on feminine, masculine energy
Yeah.
and how to use those energies. So if that speaks to you, check that out. So the first power is a solid foundation, as we already mentioned.
Yeah, there's you need a solid foundation in everything that you do. A solid foundation within yourself when you're building a house, you name it. There you need something solid that's going to be able to hold all the framework that you're about to put on it. So,
Exactly. And then hold the energy. Like this is like when you have a house you walk into and you can tell it's like a loving house or it just feels homey. Or you walk into a house and it feels like soulless and empty.
when I look at a house, I can sense if it's a house worth going into or what kind of vibe is in there without even looking at it. Just like I just feel it. And I've come across a couple of houses that I'm like, nope, not even looking at that one.
Exactly. And people too. I mean, you can just sense their soul and what type of energy they're carrying.
Yeah.
And you need a solid foundation as you're building your energy and you're evolving. Your energy's getting greater and greater. So you need that solid foundation to be able to hold that. If you don't, you're kind of shaky and wishy-washy and can fall over at any time. And it can't hold the vibration that you want to hold to live a real thriving, free life.
And then you're sitting around wondering why things that you're looking for to manifest aren't manifesting because you're wishy-washy and you're not stable enough to be able to hold what's to come. So, having that solid foundation and using the earth element to help you on that is really, really a cool way to start.
Exactly. And another way to think of this is with your space, like you're going to clean your house, you're going to clean the energy, you're physically going to clean it, and you're going to inspect it. You're going to notice if something's wrong and you need to, like that wall's not looking too good or, whatever. And you're going to get somebody in there or do it yourself to shore up the wall to make sure things are staying maintained and updated. You need to do this with yourself and your energy as well. So what type of values do you have, and are you leaning into them? Do you have that strong integrity line that you're really paying attention to that in your actions and in your speech? Are you cleaning your own energetic space, making sure that your chakras are aligned, or you're leaning into whatever element you need at the moment? All these things need a lot of awareness brought to them to create that solid foundation. So the next one is grounding. Yeah.
I love that one. I like grounding. Before I do anything spiritual, anything, the first thing I do is I ground myself, only because it helps me tap into my innate power to begin with, and to be able to handle whatever might come through. So grounding is awesome to practice all the time.
Right. If you picture like a tree, like, these great mighty oaks with this, I have an actual favorite tree. We will pop a picture of that in, just because I just thought of it, and the energy of it just moves me. I love it. This tree is just massive, and its roots are just, I can picture how deep I think that they go, but they just hold it. And then the wind, it can move, it can be flexible, but it still stands there strong year after year. I go visit this tree. It's awesome. And so that's why you want your solid foundation grounded in through these roots, so that you can be flexible. You can move and sway and not be knocked off your center. One of my favorite chants, this helps to get me more into a grounded energy and at the earth element, if I'm working with it, is Deep into the Earth I Go. You can look it up on YouTube. I think it's by Teresha, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like, deep into the earth I go, so deep into the earth I know. Because you're tapped into that innate power. You know who you are. You're locked into it. And then you can go up into the ethers and work in, the air element or whatever other element you want, and pull down energy from the universe. But you're grounded in, so it's just feeding with your innate power. It's not taking from it, or it's not keeping you up, airy-fairy, as they say, and not being able to ground it back down here on earth. And that song also, another reason I love it is it's full of tribal drums. It's full of like rattles, like all earth energy type of things that just put you into that vibration.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the third one is growth.
We all want it. We hate doing it.
But we do it naturally.
We do it.
So I don't know why we resist something that just happens. I like the easiest way to visualize this is through like gardening. Like when you're starting your seedlings inside early on, and all these little sprouts are coming up, and it gets exciting. But first, what are you doing? You're staring at dirt for like weeks.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell? So earth energy is really getting you into that patience place, that like things take time, and things, as long as they're cared for properly and well, will eventually grow and sprout into what they need to sprout into, if you can hold that line. I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org. Now back to our podcast.
Now that we're heading into winter, we do the winter work and make sure that at come spring, we're making sure that all the stuff that we're looking for to grow when summer hits is there. And I do that energetically, I do that physically, I do that in so many different ways. And when you get into the habit of doing that for yourself, what comes up is awesome. But it is, testing your patience.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of things can come into play.
And your attention and intention, because you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to water them yesterday. Oh, I forgot to turn them, because they have to turn towards the sun. I forgot to turn them, but oh well. Right. And then it also shows us if you've ever worked with seedlings, not all of them make it. You'll have like 40 sprouts come up, and then a bunch of them will just start withering and going away. And you're like, whoa, and you end up with like two. But this is the awesome part of it, that parts of yourself will spring up and do their job and do what they need to do. And then they can just wither and dissolve away, because other parts of you will be the strongest in that moment to sprout into the core essence of who you are. Because we all create things to help us survive a job and childhood and relationships. And we get all these bad habits and these ingrained beliefs. And they can serve us well for a while, or sometimes not. Sometimes they just need to be able to let go.
Right.
Because, are you plucking out the dead ones, or are you just kind of letting them all be there and still exist in the pot and take up space? Pay attention to how you would address that, so you know how to address it within yourself. It's okay to let things go. It's okay to not be so rigid on who you've decided that you are. Like, I've always been this way and this is who I am. No, we're always growing and we're always shifting. So who you are is new and different in every single moment. So you don't have to solid line hold into whatever you were taught or you grew up with, or your latest belief is. It's okay to shift. The earth definitely teaches us it's okay to shift, and that's how you grow.
Yeah.
All right, so we have two more powers to tap into, and we also have the tips on how to easily, practically bring this into your life. So if you're finding value in this, please comment below on whatever your favorite earth element magic is that you like to tap into, or what you're working on right now. And please subscribe to the channel so you can get all the latest videos that we have. We have a whole series on all these elements. All right, the number 4 power is another favorite of people's, abundance. So after your seedlings have been then planted outside and it's growing and everything's coming up, yay, harvest finally comes around, and you're eating that fresh tomato, or your dream job finally showed up. Like, all these things are just, it's deeply nourishing. So you're caring for the earth, and the earth is caring for you.
Right.
So how can you get into that place where you're in a harvest space of your life? Are you always go, 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 going? Or are you taking the time, like, okay, I've done the work, here's my payoff at the end, and really enjoying it, really taking the time to harvest that. So this abundance fertility piece is also huge on alchemy. It's transmuting things. So when you've gathered your harvest, we'll keep going on the food and plant thing. When you've gathered that, and then you start like cooking with it, with your fresh herbs and your fresh veggies and all that stuff, you're transmuting, you're alchemizing it into this beautiful meal that you then get to enjoy. So if you've like been working really hard at a job or a business or something like that, and your payoff and your abundance is, here's this load of money at the end, or, this load of new clients. And then what are you doing with that to further nurture the clients and to honor and respect the flow of money? And this is where we start tapping in again into other elements come up all the time. These elements aren't like just I am the power of the element. It's like how all the powers blend and work together. So you have your abundance, your payoff, your earth energy, your money has come in. And then how do you get into that flow, like using the water element? So it's flowing in and it's flowing out. And you're just in that beautiful balance between the earth and the water.
Allowing is the biggest thing with stuff like this. When you're manifesting whatever you need to manifest, once you get everything prepared and up and growing and doing what it needs to do, and it's just allowing its natural course to take place, and while still paying attention of what you need to pay attention to. So yeah, allowing is a big thing.
It is, because like with crops, when they're growing, you might have pictured like, oh, last year I got the most awesome tomatoes and they were this big and they were juicy and this year, maybe because of the weather, it wasn't the greatest crop of that, but you have the most amazing carrots or something. So it's like allowing it to be whatever it turns out to be, not holding so hard into what this is what I was going for and this is what I was picturing, but then I got this slightly different thing. Like, that's awesome. It's still something of value. So not holding so rigidly to outcomes, basically. Right. Being flexible, because a lot of times it turns out even better than you imagined when you can do this.
Right. I think you've heard us say it before, don't get attached to the outcome. Just allow. So allowing means just allowing, you
Right.
know.
It means
And
you're also in judgment because you're judging that that's
exactly.
not good enough because it's not what I
Yeah.
pictured, even if it's better.
Right.
So you might be missing out on a lot of nuggets of gold if you're
And
sitting in
boxing
this place.
yourself in too, because if it doesn't come in that particular way, you know,
You're missing
you're
all this
missing it out.
opportunity over here
Yeah.
because you're sitting over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, opportunity, tons of opportunity with earth energy. All right, and the fifth power is the power of well-being. We all want to feel good, and that's how we can proceed through this life and enjoy it the most. And the earth, again, we talked about we nourish the earth nourishes us. So we're putting all these awesome supplements, these vitamins, these minerals into our bodies. This delicious, clean food is just nourishing us so we can carry around that energy we want. So we have the energy to go out and do the things that we want to do. It also can internally, because we're ingesting things from the earth, we're actually ingesting this earth energy, and that's fueling our bodies. Like, if there's any amount of respect, like, you're functioning off of earth like it's your gasoline.
Right.
It's so sweet. And then also this begs for movement. Like, the earth is constantly moving and shifting. It might feel like a static thing while you're walking around on it unless there's an earthquake, but the earth is constantly shifting and vibrating and moving. And I mean, you can see from the dust in your house that earth particles are just moving constantly everywhere through the currents of air. So it's begging you to please move. You need to move your body for that well-being besides ingesting the good, clean stuff.
Right.
Movement is key. And movement can also help you. Like, if you're listening to the tribal drums, you're listening to the sounds of the rattles or whatever, it just naturally getting you into a higher I was saying foundation, but I was also trying to say vibration. So higher vibration, but grounding again that energy back down into the earth. So if you think about it, that like the earth is housing all of us as people, and our bodies are housing our souls. So we need to care for it appropriately. It's a sacred vessel, just as the earth is.
Just like you take care of your garden,
Exactly.
you gotta take care of your body.
That's the whole support piece of it.
Yeah.
All right. So now practical tips, easy ways that you can incorporate earth into your day to day to work with it without the extraordinary effort of sitting at a retreat for a week. Colors. Green, black, brown, those are your primary colors, earth and plant growth type of things.
Yeah.
House plants are awesome if you can't get outside. Of course, anytime outside with nature, my cave example, you have rocks, you have crystals.
Which, mind you, that plants, trees, things like that are air based. So check out our air element video.
Yeah, we can tag the air video up front too.
They provide oxygen. So
exactly. Yeah, they all work hand in hand
filter.
together. Completely a filter. Yeah. Yes. Laying down on the ground, you've probably heard of earthing, where you just get your bare feet on the ground. There's been scientific studies, you can look them up, where people stand in sneakers because rubber insulates you from things. As we know, if there's an electrical current, have your good sneakers on, but it's also keeping you from that earth frequency energy that lights you up. So they'll have people standing on the earth with sneakers and the charge is like almost nothing or negative, and then getting out of the shoes and socks and putting their feet on the ground, and like the meters go nuts with the amount of energy that's flowing through you.
Yeah, I mean, it helps you balance very quickly. We've said this before as well. And it also, helps with blood pressure, all different types of things just by being barefoot in dirt.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, depending on what your age, like when I was a kid, we're outside barefoot all the time. Now,
my mother didn't allow that.
No. Well, you were in the city. I was in the country. But now people are like, have 10-inch thick sneakers and they're sitting playing video games a lot of the day. So you're missing a lot of that natural energy. That's why we feel like lazier and, that more sloth-like energy, because we're just not charged up like we used to be. So the more you can do that, there's also an earthing.com website that I've ordered a few things off of there. I have an earthing mat that's actually on the bed so that you're getting that electrical charge while you're sleeping to help recharge all those batteries. So that's something interesting to check out. Hiking, go visit a farm, support a farm. Awesome ways to get out. Go caving. That's so fun. Make sure you know what you're doing, or you're with somebody that does. If you're
Right.
going caving, please. Salt is an awesome thing. It's a very good protection thing. With salt, I'll put it in a container, and if I'm like lighting a candle or something, I'll put the candle on the sand to protect it. Or salt in a ring around whatever I'm doing as a sign of protection. It also, one of my favorite things about Earth is the way it just anchors me. So if I'm dealing with a lot of high energies, or if I'm like tapping into things to bring out to all of you, the more that I can anchor in here so that I can make sure it's coming through the video and coming out to you is the better. So I will sometimes just picture like a boat anchor or something that I'm just like raking, or a hook that I'm hooking into the earth to make sure I'm solidly planted where I need to be. So I'm translating that message and that energy out that's flowing through me out to you.
Right. Because if you don't do that, I mean, everything that you're wanting, needing is going to stay wherever it is because it doesn't really have a direction where to end.
It needs a
So
physical place to
it
land.
needs a physical place to manifest. So you need to anchor into that earth energy, anchor yourself into that, so that whatever it is that you're looking to manifest comes to you, not stays in the ethers and or wherever it might be at the time.
Right.
So
So Earth is like your ultimate frequency shifter. And it's also your greatest anchor for being in the present moment. And we know everything happens and comes from the present moment. So this is the magic and the beauty of Earth energy. So we hope you tap into it and have a fabulous day.
be kind.
Peace.